to Shlomo Greenwald, the Associate Editor of the Jewish Press.
Thank you, Malcolm. Right now, the law in New York City is that a parent must sign a consent form to allow the act of mitzitza b'peh, which is part of the bris milah ritual in some segments of the Jewish community. Do you agree with this regulation? And in general, do you believe it is appropriate for the Board of Health or any other city agency to regulate religious practices?
Mr. Alvarez.
I don't think there's a good guy or bad guy in this situation. I think we're all concerned about the children. I have some concerns about the practice. However, when I'm mayor, I'm going to bring everyone together, the community as well as the Board of Health, and we will come to, I believe, some consensus that will please all the different entities. My name is Sal Albanese, and I'm the only person in this race who has a record of independence, is not a career politician, is not accepting money from lobbyists or developers, and I'm committed to putting the people in charge of City Hall. Let me tell you a bit about my background. I came here as an immigrant and grew up in a working class neighborhood in Brooklyn, where my mother raised us on a garment worker's salary. The public schools, the libraries, the sports programs, the CUNY system helped to elevate my family from the working class to the middle class. I'm running because I want to offer the same opportunities to future generations of New Yorkers, and I believe the political system is letting them slip away. It's become too reactive, as we saw with Hurricane Sandy, where there was no preparation after 10 years of warning about a storm. With your help, I think we can change that. We have a choice in this election. On the one hand, we can select from a group of professional politicians who spend more time bickering than listening to New Yorkers, or we can choose a clean break. Elect a mayor who has raised the wages of workers, has a record of independence, and has taught in our city's classrooms. I spent 11 years as a New York City public school teacher, so I understand education from the ground up. I spent 15 years in the city council as a reformer, where I authored the city's first living wage law, which impacted 70,000 people and put $3 billion in their pockets. I've spent the last 15 years in the private sector. We have a lot of work to do in this city. We have to tackle poverty, we have to deal with income inequality, we have to fix our schools, we have to continue to keep the city safe, and we have to actually create jobs that pay the bills. But to accomplish any of this, we need a government that works for its citizens. Right now, we have a government that is out of touch with average people, where they spend more time at cocktail parties rather than listening to their constituents. We need a mayor that has political courage. My opponents are part of the problem. They play it safe instead of offering solutions. And if they're elected, they're going to be indebted to every lobbyist in town. I want to be a different kind of man. I want to make decisions on the merits. I want to tell the truth, even if it's politically risky. I want to put regular people in City Hall, giving them a real voice. And with your help and with your votes, we can build a better New York. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Mr. DeLongio.
Thank you, Malcolm. I want to thank you for your wonderful show and all you do for the community. To thank Ruben and everyone at Manhattan Beach Jewish Center, Jerry, Shlomo, Naomi, everyone at the Jewish Press. Let me start by saying I've had a very good working relationship with the Jewish Press. I've been honored to have the support of the Jewish Press. First when I ran for City Council in 2001, and then when I ran for Public Advocate in 2009. I echo Malcolm's view that it's an incredibly important publication for all of us. Look, on the question first before us, I think the mayor approached this the wrong way. I think he had tried to impose his will without respect for religious tradition, without any effort at real dialogue with the community, in an attempt to balance the legitimate concerns of the safety of our children with the fact that it is our solemn responsibility to also respect every tradition, every culture, every religion, and be very careful that government not unfairly intrude. I would start over, is the bottom line. I think even before taking office as mayor, there's time to get together with community leaders, change the policy to find a way to protect all of our children, but also respect religious tradition in an appropriate manner, and come in day one to City Hall with a new policy that's fair. On the bigger front, look, I had the honor in the City Council of representing an important segment of the Jewish community here in Brooklyn, now as public advocate, representing Jewish communities all over the city. We worked shoulder to shoulder on a host of issues of concern, starting with one near and dear to my heart, child care, and what I think was a horrible mistake and an unfair action by the Bloomberg administration to cut out priority 5 and 7 vouchers that helped larger families to get childcare. I fought that battle for years. It's something I would make a priority to restore as part of my overall commitment to early childhood education. You can't take away something as fundamental to the future of our city and our neighborhoods as early childhood education. You certainly can't take it all away from one community while treating other communities differently. So that's a fairness point I fight for. And just my overall approach as public advocate is to try and seek fairness, to make sure our city government serves all 5 boroughs equally, neighborhoods equally, stops making it so hard for small businesses to do their job and employ people, stops the ongoing assault on homeowners with sky-high water bills and an unfair way of treating homeowners when they try to appeal those water bills. These are the kinds of issues I have fought for and worked on as a public advocate, because you need a city government that's going to understand this city operates from a neighborhood level. If people can't even go about their day-to-day work of running their small business, for example, and creating jobs in their community, something's fundamentally wrong with the approach of this city government. I'm sick of a city government that's elitist and focused first and foremost on Manhattan. I want a city government that's focused on where all the people are, and that starts with the vast majority of us who live here in the outer boroughs. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lucas.
Thank you, Nachum, for being a great moderator and radio talk show host. I'm so happy to be here once again at Manhattan Beach Jewish Center. This is a place that we have had many good memories and also many great discussions. I certainly thank the Jewish press, Naomi and Jerry and all of you there for number one, giving me your hearty endorsement 4 years ago to become New York City Comptroller, and of course for tonight bringing all of us together to discuss some of these very important issues. On the issue of Metitzas B'Peh, this is something that's been going on for thousands of years. Thousands of years. And it's continued to this day until, for some reason, a particular billionaire mayor in this city decided that he must know better than anybody else over the thousands of years that this practice has gone on, and imposed this requirement, a legal requirement, on something that has been of great religious importance to so many people, still today in New York City and around the world. So the answer to your question is, I would not continue that requirement. This is something that we should defer to the rabbis. And just in general terms, you know, this is a city that represents, I believe, represents or should represent the best of everything that's happening in the world. I came here as an immigrant, not knowing a word of English. My parents came here to look for opportunities, and we worked hard, and we pursued and in many ways achieved the American dream. And that's what people from all over the world have come to New York City specifically for. New York City should be a place of great tolerance. Tolerance that embraces the diversity, whether it be ethnic or cultural or historical, the diversity that is the human spirit. And so on a broader level, it's not just about imposing a requirement on this particular practice that, as I said, has been going on for thousands of years with basically no problems, but embracing what people believe in and not creating these kinds of restrictions. New York City should be a great place, and I think it can be a great place. We need to restore the promise of what New York has been about, that if you come here, you work hard, you dream big, and then you work even harder, you can achieve great success. And I'm sitting before you, running for mayor of New York City. You know, in some ways this still boggles my mind that somebody like me could be sitting before you talking about these kinds of issues. And to be currently serving as city controller, where I have had the opportunity to understand every facet of city government, and that kind of understanding and experience will allow me to cross the street from my office in the municipal building and hopefully, with your support, become the next mayor of New York City at City Hall. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. Speaker King.
Well, thank you very much, Nachum, for being our MC tonight, but also for your radio show and all you do to keep New York City informed. I want to thank everyone at the Manhattan Beach Jewish Center for hosting us tonight and also for using this venue for so many other important civic events in the past. I want to thank Naomi and Jerry and everyone at the Jewish Press, not just for tonight, but everything you have done being the oldest, most widely read Anglo-Jewish weekly in the country. That is quite an accomplishment. It says a great deal about New York and what a great publication Jerry Noe and everyone else puts out. I want to say what a great privilege it's been to be able to be Speaker of the City Council for the past 7.5 years, and to work with many of you and the organizations you represent in this room to make sure that over those 7.5 years, we balanced our budgets on time, but still been able to keep restoring year after year vouchers into the budget, to make sure those cuts that were proposed didn't stand, so that families got the vouchers they needed. That is what my colleagues and I have done year after year, and what I will continue to do as mayor. Or worked during those years, even during the recession, to expand job opportunities here in Brooklyn and throughout the city. Or to make sure that under my leadership as Speaker, not one firehouse was closed anywhere in the city of New York. Because I really think the job of elected officials is to help us grow more opportunity for folks to stay in the middle class, and for those families who are working so hard to get into the middle class to have that opportunity to get into the middle class. And if those vouchers had slipped away, those educational opportunities or the need for care for children to people go to be out and working would have disappeared as well, and I'm proud of the work of all of us in the City Council. Now, on the question of the consent forms, I've heard loud and clear that the way they were implemented was a way where the community felt like they weren't properly consulted, where they weren't properly given the opportunity to give input. And that is obviously unacceptable. We shouldn't have a system where people are cut out and their voice isn't allowed into the system. Now that said, I think the consent form does balance the need for important city commitment for religious freedom with public health concerns. And although I wouldn't have implemented it in a way where people's voices were cut out, I would not change the consent form. I would leave it in place moving forward.
Thank you very much. Pastor Salgado.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting me to participate in this forum. I appreciate seeing such a good turnout, because it is important for everyone, every voter, to understand what each candidate represents. One of the reasons that motivated me to run for mayor was actually the excessive intrusion of government into religious organizations and the constantly attack of the current administration against the community of faith. My constituency, which is a city of more of 300,000 Spanish evangelical, we got enough of watching, and we decided to make a difference united. Now, with the more than 2.4 million Latino in the city, and the hope of the Orthodox Jewish community, the Russian community, and the community of faith, we are building a coalition that is going to be very difficult to be defeated. As a religious man myself, I am concerned with the way City Hall is interfering with religion. We see this as the health department is taking and aiming on the practice of Mesiva BPED, whether or not it is a Judaism desire or mandate by the practice, it is irrelevant. What it counts is that the government had no right to come and tell the different religious leaders how to conduct their religion. Under my administration, I'm going to eliminate that regulation, especially when we have an anti-Semitic group working from Massachusetts to San Francisco to ban circumcision altogether. And we have those anti-Semitic groups marching every year over here in the city. So of course we have to eliminate that regulation. We have to make sure that we are living in a city that we have freedom of religion. That's why we are over here, and we are on the attack, and we have to attack back. That's why I'm for all the religious leaders to have the opportunity to continue performing their religion the best way they think it is. We see this attack when the city prohibits the use of well water in matzo making process. We see this attack vividly in Williamsburg when the city hall is suing Jewish store owner who posts sign requiring mother's dress. We see this attack when city hall interfere with the religion, and it doesn't stop there. They are trying to prevent religious organization to use school building or facility in non-school hour. That is an attack in the community of faith, and as a man of faith, I'm going to work together with all the Orthodox Jewish community to fight back and get what belongs to us, the freedom of religion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Williams.
Well, thank you very much. It is really great to be back. I can't imagine, thank you, but I can't imagine just how many times I've attended a simcha here, or a graduation, or a bond breakfast, or a malava malka, or something in this hall and in this building. And I just want to say thank you so much for the kindness you've shown in welcoming me back, and the generosity you've shown in allowing me to represent this community for so many years. You know, I first spoke about Metzitza Pepe when I ran in 2005. There's a clip outside, Naftali has them, where I was trying to get anyone possible to talk about in the context of that campaign. Because as you know, this didn't start last week. This has been going on for years now, that this battle has been going on. And for me, it comes down to my values as someone who believes in the ethos of New York. And part of that ethos of New York is we all come from different places. We bring different cultures, we bring different ideas. We never are too far from our mother country. We try to bring those traditions here. And that's very, very important and part of the fundamental structure of the Fruit community. But it's not just that issue that I was out ahead on. When I was in Congress, when no one was talking about Jonathan Pollard, I was. When I was in Congress, when no one was talking about the injustice against Rabashkin, I was. When I was in Congress and I was talking about the need at the time around 9/11, not only for grants to provide more cops on the beat, more security for New York, but what about institutions like this one? What about our yeshivot who don't have the ability to go to shareholders to get more security? We created Homeland Security grants that have now been put into more than 97 schools around Brooklyn and Queens and Manhattan, all over the city. This is the kind of voice that I want to be, not only for this community, but for the entire city of New York. Someone that doesn't have to be shaken by the lapels to do someone who has it deep in his kishkis, someone who understands what it means to fight for this community. You know, I got to know many of you. And frankly, celebrating Tashlik out here, well, I was a city council candidate. I was skinny then. And I got to know of you, of course, of time. And some issues the community and I have fought and worked together. We got a traffic light on Hampton. We fought and worked together. Sometimes there were some heated meetings that we had. I remember being in this room defending Obamacare. Okay. But what I always did, and what I always will do, if I'm given your help and with God's good grace I get a chance to be your mayor, I'm going to fight for what I think is right. I'm going to fight for the middle class and those struggling to make it. I'm going to fight for people even if they're in the minority. I'm going to fight for people even if they're a small minority. And I'm going to always do it trying to do the right thing and listening to you every step of the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.